Hey, welcome back to Curiosity Hub. I'm Ollie Hubbard. I'll explain this in a sec, but first, okay, if you've been following, I hurt my thigh a few weeks ago, and then it's just kind of been getting progressively worse, I suppose. But the last 2 days I've completely rested it, and now just gonna go for a mini run, and hopefully this week will be a steady path to 100% recovery. That feels so much better. At 5Ks, I got a little twinge in my thigh, so I just walked the rest of the way, just to be on the safe side. But apart from that, it felt really good, and it just feels so good to run. I don't know why, I don't know if it was the best thing to do for my thigh. It feels okay, but I was just starting to feel like really maybe anxious, I suppose, just like really needing to run. So it'd actually be interesting to look into that, whether you really can get addicted to running. Yes, you can. However, it's important to say that a healthy commitment to running can exist completely independently of any addiction. It's totally normal to feel negative feelings or even withdrawal symptoms if you're unexpectedly prevented from doing an activity which you had planned to do, whether that be running or, as one study said, bowling. Addiction is not identified by the presence of withdrawal symptoms, but their intensity. I think a really good definition for addiction is in this study. It says that addiction is defined as the behavioral process that can provide either pleasure or relief from internal discomfort such as stress, anxiety, etc. And it is characterized by repeated failure to control the behavior and maintenance of the behavior in spite of negative consequences. And it goes on to say that those negative consequences can be physical or social or emotional. So you can see why this addiction can cause such a dangerous cycle, because as they run more often, those negative consequences will grow and therefore put more stress on the person. But the person sees running as their only way to release stress, so they'll feel the compulsion to run even more. And so you've got this really dangerous perpetuating cycle. The psychology of it does interest me, but I can't help but wonder, why does running reduce stress and anxiety in the first place? Well, you've probably heard of the first hypothesis, that a euphoric runner's high is experienced when endorphins increase in the brain. Now, endorphins are a neurotransmitter in your brain and in your body. However, because of their chemical structure, they can't pass through the blood-brain barrier. So you've either got brain endorphins or body endorphins. They don't mix. Now, for years we've known that during and after exercise, the endorphins in your body increase, but we had no way of measuring the endorphins in your brain until very recently. And it turns out they do the exact same thing. When you exercise, endorphins in your brain go up. Now, that interacts with your opiate receptors and reduces stress and anxiety. So, endorphins definitely are part of runner's high. However, when we couldn't see the brain endorphins, we were searching for what else might cause runner's high. And it turns out that there's pretty good evidence endocannabinoids also play a role, specifically anandamide. So long distance running definitely has the potential to reduce anxiety and stress. Therefore, there is a chance that you could become addicted to that release. However, it's important to remember that addiction requires the repetition of that activity despite negative consequences. But if you do feel that's you, then I really recommend you seek help and just chat to your GP. However, on the most part, running and runner's high and that reduction in stress and anxiety can be enjoyed without any addiction. Just keep an eye out. Okay, just a mini run today. The thigh Did recover after the other run. Didn't take too long, but it is still, it is still preventing me from just going out and doing a nice long run, which is really starting to get frustrating. And okay, good news and bad news. Good news, my thigh held up completely, absolutely perfect, no soreness at all. The bad news, that was really difficult, and it was a really short run. So I think my fitness has gone down, but if the thigh is better, then it's worth it. And also, I only realized once I got outside how short these shorts are. I am in hospital. Talking of brain chemistry, I have just experienced a serious high from some serious painkillers. A runner's high has never made me almost cry from appreciation. But then again, Ricky and Malcolm, the paramedics, were just so good at their job, and I just wanted to say thank you. But basically, I ran into a wall and I bruised the bone around my hip, and I've got soft tissue damage in and around my hip as well. I can't really walk properly at the moment. So, unfortunately, the official Carcore Cup marathon isn't happening. However, if I can get moving, then I will attempt my own marathon, still 42 kilometers, on the same date, on the 5th of November. However, if I physically cannot complete that, then I'll continue training outside of the videos, and I will attempt the first marathon of next year. So to those of you who have generously given to the Against Malaria Foundation, thank you, and I will run a marathon. Hopefully still. Now, on a brighter note, I have something for you. Down in the description is a link to our brand new subreddit. I really thought it would just be cool to have a kind of place for the community to chat and share cool things. And to kick us off, I want to know how many of you can solve this puzzle. So if 1.5 men can build 1.5 roads in 1.5 days, how many roads can 6 men build in 7 days? Good luck. So I hope you learned something about the brain and about running addiction. If you did, feel free to share the knowledge or join our community if you haven't already. Also, the link to the Against Malaria Foundation is down below still. So I know you're smart. You know that so many charities take a massive cut of any money you give them. But here, 100% of your donation goes to buying nets to protect people just like you and me from malaria. So that would be awesome. Even just one net is about $2 US. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay curious.